let's go with Boondocks, which is
right.
Oh man, Carl Jones, phenomenal. Boondocks addressed so much stuff in cartoon.
Yeah.
No different than South Park. South Park goes in. They dog presidency, but these are white dudes. They can do 30 seasons of this. Boondocks was addressing everything, and it was struggling to get the second season, struggling to get all the black animation gets canceled. Gets canceled like that. Like Family Guy, Simpsons been running since 1835.
Over that old?
Homer's old, like, I think I'm 100. You know what I'm saying? Listen.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. You like that?
Pretty good.
No, it's
true.
They get to run all day. And then Cleveland, who was the neighbor of, Family Guy, right? Yeah. Cleveland got his own show. And then the person voicing Cleveland is a white guy. First off, the black character. And it got canceled. We can't even have a cartoon?
No.
Right. Like, this is a successful character on a successful show, and they canceled the black.
But so here's where
insane. So that's not surprising when they do that to movies.
Hollywood Hollywood is at this crazy point right now where, we're seeing, from the finances of it, it's going through this downturn, right? And it needs something different. It's been the same playbook for so long. And it's almost as like, people are like, we've seen this. It's the same repeat movie. It's the same typical black characters, right? Like, it's almost as if Hollywood has this monolith idea of what black storytelling is, what storytelling is in general. And you would think it would be more inviting to be able to showcase other stories that are hidden. Like, I heard you talk about the boxer, the British boxer who's a slave.
Bill Richmond,
Bill Richmond. Like, that'd be a dope story. Like, that'd be cool to have, a story like that and to see that, because it's something new. Like, those things invite, like, watching that in today's time. You think about the resurgence. What was that one with the Prince, Meghan Markle? What was that, the show that she was on?
Suits?
Suits,
And how it had this resurgence. You would think that a movie like that would, like a United Kingdom would have a resurgence because people are hungry to find new and different types of things, or they would allow the development. Do you think Hollywood is going to move towards that way where they're going to have the development of different things
Godfrey's
outside?
laugh tells you everything.
I know.
No, they're not. Look, we all have our prejudices and biases. Here we are as 3 black men of African descent around puff, chin chin, and palm wine. Like, there are other people who don't come from where we come from who will look at this and be like, ooh, what's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would not have the engagement we have with this. And so that's fine. But the problem is we keep making stuff that is specific to us, that we value, and every single time it has to go through the lens, the gate, the prejudice, and bias of a white man. At some point.
Yeah.
And a white man who doesn't share our values, doesn't share our history, doesn't share our passion for the thing that we have made.
No.
That is inherently problematic.
Yes.
Because the reason I made A United Kingdom, the reason I made Queen of Cartway, the reason I spent 7 years trying to get Selma made, the reason I spent 10 years trying to get Bass Reeves made is because that is my prejudice, my bias. I loved cowboys growing up, so I wanted to see that. I couldn't understand why the only African-American the only American who has had a holiday named after him in the 20th century didn't have his own major motion picture. I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why I hadn't seen someone like Seretse Khama on film before. I didn't understand why I hadn't seen someone like Fiona Mutesi, who was a chess prodigy from the slums of Kartwe, Uganda. I don't understand why my kids hadn't had the privilege of seeing that before. So you go to bat, you go, I'm going to kill myself to get this thing made. But every single one of those had to, at some point, go through the hurdle of convincing a white man that in power, that this is worthy of being made. And we got it there in the end, but how many times I have pain in my body tied to each and every one of those endeavors. It is brutal to be gaslit, to be second-guessed, to be marginalized, to be alone whilst trying to get all of those stories told. And so I truly believe the only way to keep building in the direction that you're talking about is to figure out a different ecosystem. Hollywood is shrinking. I think that's an opportunity for filmmakers in the diaspora. That's why we started Mansa, our own streaming platform. It's why...
Were you scared to start your own streaming platform?
Absolutely terrified. But ignorance is bliss. I didn't know that starting a tech company would be as tough as it was. But Nate Parker and I, you know, he's making brilliant films like Birth of a Nation and American Skin. I had directed a film called The Waterman. And, you know, we always have to take these things that we raised the money for. We did the writing. We're acting in them. We're corralling the people to come alongside us. You know, we're raising the millions of dollars to do it. And then at some point, you take that, you hand it over to someone who doesn't share your values, and you hope that they're going to do right by it. And almost always, not only do they not, they can't. Because it's like taking your child, putting it in someone else's home and expecting that person to do right by your child the way they would their own. It's not their child. The reason why a white actor will have that many at-bats before they finally get a success, and that becomes the narrative around why they're a star, is because they are a better looking, younger version of the person who put them on in the first place. Because that person is going, that's me. That's like my child. That's what I value. That's what I aspired to when I was a kid. So that actor is the embodiment of my aspiration when I was an assistant at CAA.
No, you don't understand. It's usually a personal.
Absolutely.
Remember, what did Gina tell you?
Absolutely,
what did Gina tell you?
Yes, sir.
When I auditioned for.
Oh yeah. He's a handsome. He's too much like a model. Like, cause you were supposed to be
a guy in a warehouse.
A guy in a warehouse. He doesn't fit the guy he doesn't look like what a guy in the warehouse.
What does that look like?
He doesn't get the part.
I can be in a warehouse. When you talk like, I remember NYPD Blue. I remember that. I read for a guy that shot a cop in the face. Right. And me growing up in Chicago, the most segregated city in the country. This is segregated. LA segregated, but no one has anything on Chicago. So cops, our thing with cops was like, and so I was in it because cops were with us all the time. So I'd be like, so I played the part. I said, why'd you shoot him in the face? I said, because I don't like cops. And I was being honest. And I got called back. They were like, yo, I got called back like 3 or 4 times. Then the last thing I said, so what's going on? He was like, they need you to be uglier. Huh? I say ugly. What does that have to do with anything? Guys like me, I don't know. I'm not walking around like I'm a supermodel. Guys like me and you, we get harassed by cops. I can feel this way. I have to look up. It was crazy that I had to look like in your image of a black person has to be, well, we all get with by cops.
4 is here. It's hot. Come get it.
Bam.
Ain't no place like home.